Hi, here is Liprandi and these are Gormiti the Magnetics first series 5-inch tall magnetic action figures made by Giochi Preziosi in 2008. But first, please subscribe to our channel. We have been collecting toys for over 30 years and we are reviewing them all. Gormiti started in 2005 as a collection of mini figures in blind bags with a card game, starting with 42 different characters divided into 6 populations based upon natural elements: earth, sea, sky, forest, magma and lava. There were no square-jawed heroes, no princes, they were all terrifying creatures. Thanks to the concepts of creator Leandro Consumi and the original designs of artist Vanni Milli, the Gormitis had a huge and unexpected success. Starting from the second series, they hired a new character and toy designer, artist Gianfranco Enrietto, who came up with literally hundreds and hundreds of different, terrifying and perfectly recognizable characters. Pretty soon the Italian Gormiti were everywhere in Europe. Lasting from 2005 to 2013, they have been rebooted quite successfully in 2018, and then they've had a last unsuccessful attempt into rebooting in 2022 with a nostalgic nod to the first series. Overall, Gormiti is a huge toy line with minifigures, unarticulated minifigures, articulated minifigures, magnetic minifigures, 4-inch tall action figures, 5-inch tall action figures, 6-inch tall action figures, 8-inch tall action figures, die-cast metal cars, slot cars, and for the 5-inch tall action figures they've made electronic remote-controlled creatures, a huge giant volcano playset, and all sorts of toys. They had several animated TV shows and even a bootleg Chinese live-action movie. 2 unsuccessful attempts in distributing Gormiti in the United States have been made, the second one by Playmates Toys, who tried to distribute these very action figures, but they were somehow altered, and instead of having magnetic joints they had simple plastic pegs. Even though this wave was called the first series for the international market, this was actually the third wave of magnetic 5-inch tall action figures in the Gormiti line. Also, these are characters from the first series, but this is how they looked after being redesigned by Gianfranco Enrietto for the 4th series. In fact, for example, this is the same character redesigned by Gianfranco Enrietto, and this is how he looked in the first series designed by Vanni Milli. This is a carded example. The only thing this toy line is missing is a nice card art. Each character came with a DVD with a simple animation of a backstory, and on the back we can see a checklist of all the different characters included in this particular wave. The 6 characters in this wave are actually lords of the 6 different populations. This is Lord of the Earth people, Geos, the firstborn. Silent, wise, his mallet is devastating. He's a massive toy, very heavy, made in a very good quality thick plastic with some metal parts in it, of course, because he's got magnets and metal spheres in his joints. We can move his head from side to side, we can move the arms forwards and backwards, we can bend his elbows, move the legs forwards and backwards, and bend his knees. In general, he's made in yellow plastic with some light gray and dark gray paint applications to make it look like if it was made of dirt and stones. And this is a mix and match toy line, of course, so we can remove the limbs, they are held by magnets, we can swap them like so, or even take some from other characters. This is Noctis, Lord of the Sky people. His terrible gaze has become legend. Many can't even tell what they saw into it, because they aren't even around anymore. This is how the character was described on his card, and he looks like a giant creature with feathers, a beak, and strange moth-like antennas. He's got wings, we can move them, they are articulated and painted, it looks nice, and again, he's a very, very heavy toy. Apart from the wings, he's got the same articulations we saw on Geos, so we can move his head, the arms forwards and backwards, we can bend his elbows, move the legs and bend the knees. Again, another beautiful giant creature. And of course, he's got magnets everywhere in his limbs, so we can take them apart like so and swap them with the ones from other characters. His wings are also removable, but we don't have magnets here, just simple pegs. Poivrons is Lord of the Sea People. On his card it says that if you meet him, you should just shut up, because he is very prickly and will likely crush you in his tentacles. His name, Poivrons, is quite silly because it comes from the Italian word for octopus, that is piovra, but in French it means pepper. His design, of course, reminds a lot of Cthulhu, but he looks cool anyway. We can move his head, arms, elbows, legs and knees, so he's got the same articulations as the others, and some light and dark blue paint applications. Very cool. We can remove all of his limbs. Once again, we can swap them or change them with limbs from other characters. Tazarao is Lord of the Forest People. He is a very ancient and wise strategist and warrior. He has fought many battles in thousands and thousands of years. And of course he can camouflage in the forest, you won't be able to tell where he is. Tazarao looks like a giant tree creature made of branches and wood and leaves. Awesome. We've got some brown and green and yellow paint applications, and of course we can move his head. We can move all 4 of his arms, and all of them have bendable elbows. Very nice. And again we can move his legs forwards and backwards and bend his knees. He is a very, very heavy toy, and all of his limbs have magnets, including the 2 additional arms. So we will have a lot of different options for this toy. We can take 4 arms from different figures and come up with a new monster. This is Magmion, leader of the volcano magma people. He is giant and powerful. His name alone is enough to make plants die. He knows black magic, and if you meet him, his claw and tail will be fatal to you. He's just one of my favorite, red with light and dark gray and yellow paint applications. We can move his tail, which is detachable, but this is not a magnet, just a peg holding it in position. We can move his head, arms forwards and backwards, bend his elbows, move the legs forwards and backwards, and bend his knees. Magmion. And again, apart from the tail, all of the other limbs are magnetized, so we can swap them with different options. And this is Lavion, the rarest action figure in this assortment. He is Lord of the Volcano Lava People. His arm is a creature of its own, and he is so frightening that even rocks shake of terror before him. Apart from the regular articulations for head, arms, elbows, legs and knees, also both of his claws, tentacles can move. And I like how this weird creature can come away from his body, but sadly the other tentacles will remain stuck to his chest. And once again, all of his limbs are magnetized, so we can easily swap them with parts from different characters. Of course, all of their magnetic joints are compatible with the ones of the other 2 waves of 5 inches tall magnetic Gormiti action figures. Also, secondary characters, the ones that are not lords, had smaller magnetic action figures and fantastic creatures they could ride, and these figures are compatible with all of them as well. Of course, being both over 40 years old, my older brother and I don't have nostalgia for a toy line from 2005, but we just fell in love with the Gormiti because they are fun, cool, very well made, fantastic toys. It's one of the richest toy lines that we have ever seen, and the inspiration from classic toy lines from the 1970s and 1980s is quite clear. Micronauts from Mego or Masters of the Universe from Mattel. Figures from the second wave of 5 inches tall magnetic Gormitis also had spring-loaded firing fists, which is a toy classic. If you are in Europe and maybe in your 20s, then you already know these characters very well because they are a classic. They are the Masters of the Universe of such generation. While if you are in the United States and probably have never seen them before, we just suggest you to get some of them. They will likely become your favorite toys. One day we will review their giant volcano playset. It's got beautiful gimmicks, For the moment, just please let us know if you liked this video, clicking on the like button and subscribe to our channel. Ciao!